Hey guys, welcome back to the vlog. Today we're going to be playing in a $1 home game at Dookie Betts' place. So shout out to him for hosting. He makes great content like this one, where I get him in a pretty big pot. So go check him out. He makes some really good videos and he's a great guy. So show his channel some love for me if you can. I also want to say thank you guys for showing the bankroll challenge some love. You guys had a lot of likes, a lot of comments, a lot of views on those videos. So I appreciate it. If you haven't seen it already, it'll be up in the cards or down in the link in the description below. You can go watch that. Other than that, if you want some live updates, follow me on Instagram at JQPoker. And without further ado, let's get right into it. Our first hand of the night, there is a low jack slash under the gun raise, $3. Hijack calls. We call with queen 8 of diamonds on the button. This is a little too loose, but I'm trying to get involved. Both the blinds complete as well. 5 ways to a flop with $15 in the middle, which comes out ace 4 deuce with 2 diamonds. We flop a flush draw. Checks to the initial raiser, who bets out for $6. Hijack folds. We put in the call, as does the small blind player. 3 ways to a turn with 33 in the middle, which is very good for us. It is the 3 of diamonds. So we make the second nut flush. There is a straight flush out there. We also do lose to the king eye flush. So definitely don't have the nuts here. But when the small blind and the middle position player check, it's back on us. Feel comfortable enough to go for value. I bet out for 20 into 33. Unblocking all the top pairs, as well as the straight combos. But under the gun quickly folds. We take that one down. Not a huge pot, but pretty nice to see our first pot of the night going our way. This next hand we pick up in progress, but it's probably one of my favorites that I've played on camera. I 3-bet squeeze ace deuce of clubs up to $12 in the cutoff, off of an under the gun open from Taliana. You guys saw her in the last vlog, bluff catching my river shove, so we owe her some payback and hoping to get it here. We go 3 ways to a flop of 6-6-4. It's gonna check over to me. I probably should be betting this board. In theory, I bet this a lot heads up because I retain the nut advantage with all my over pairs that these other players just won't have, but in game I decided to check it back. Playing multi-way is a bit strange. And we pick up the club draw on the turn. I decide to bet now. Once both players have checked twice, I go for 17 into 38. Shout out to Fetty Wap. We're going to get a call from Taliana, and the middle position player is going to fold. So we're heads up to the river, which is the bink 9 of clubs. We make a backdoor flush. Typically, when we make backdoor hands, they're fairly disguised. So you'd like to size up and go a little bit bigger when you make strong hands in weird ways. So I decide to bet out fairly large into this pot of $72. Trying to go for max value. I decide on a size of $50. But much to my surprise, and in this spot, kind of some agony, it doesn't take Taliana too long before announcing. So Taliana shoves for $205 total. A lot of you might be wondering why I haven't just snap called. I think it's partially because I'm a nit, but mostly because this spot is a lot closer than it might seem. And there's no reason to rush a decision for a lot of money. So let's break it down like we always do. First, starting with the pot odds we're getting, it's $155 more to call in order to win a pot of what would be around $480, which means we need around 33% equity against her perceived range in order to make a break-even call. Now ideally, we're making profitable calls, not just break-even ones, so we need to be right more than a third of the time here, which is a lot. Doesn't sound like a lot, but definitely is a lot when you go and break it down. So once we calculate our pot odds, we need to go and see our hands equity against her perceived range. So I personally think that this is a very complicated spot that I might even make another video about this, breaking the hand down in depth. Let me know if you guys want to see that. But basically, when we have ace deuce of clubs here,
we beat all her other flushes, we beat all her trip combos, and we beat all her bluffs. Now, I honestly think this spot is a little bit too weird and a little bit too thin for her to be raising trips for value. I think she'd probably lead the turn, if not check raise the turn, with trip values and also with a lot of her flush combos as well. But if we pull up what a perceived range chart might look like with just looking at her values, because I think it is kind of hard to find bluffs on this board, even though she's a good player. She could find some bluffs, but here's what her value range might look like. I do think, like I said, it's too thin to raise trips, so we have full houses here, so 3 combos of pocket 4s, 1 of quads for pocket 6s, 3 combos of 9s, 3 combos of queens, and 1 combo each of these 4 flushes: King Jack suited, King 10 suited, Jack 10 suited, and 8 7 suited. So we have, these are her value combos, and we have the ones that beat us and the ones that we beat. Beats us, that's 7 to 10 combos based on how often she doesn't 4-bet queens pre-flop. And then we're beating 3 to 4 combos based on if she has 8-7 suited or if she only has the Broadway suited combos defending to the 3-bet. It is a fairly tight-ish configuration pre-flop, but I guess you could think I'm squeezing once the middle position player calls. So, like I said, pretty strange spot. We need to be right 1 in 3 times. If you look at that, it kind of depends on how often she traps queens, whether we could be good here or not. Enough of the time. We would much rather have a hand like Ace 4 suited that would cut down on 2 of her full house combos, even though our absolute hand strength and nut flush is the same. Ace 4 suited clearly is better here, just for that blocker effect. I thought for a long time, perhaps too long, but at the end of the day, I decided that she doesn't really trap queens that often pre-flop, and if we look at this from a minimum defense frequency, MDF, that's how often we need to call in any spot in order not to be exploitable, because if we're over folding certain spots or folding range all the time, then she can pretty much just plow us over. So I thought about what hands could I have that are better than this. I'm probably not squeezing off pocket 4s or pocket 6s pre-flop, maybe 6s at some frequencies, but combos of quads are hard to have. So if I'm squeezing pocket queens and pocket 9s for full house combos, am I ever checking the flop with pocket queens or pocket 9s? Maybe multi-way, but I think those hands need protections. Definitely 9s more than queens. So could I check queens sometimes on the flop? Yes, but it's probably rare. So honestly, the nut flush might be the strongest hand I'll ever have here as played. And so when that's the case, you probably shouldn't make a habit of folding the strongest hands in your range, especially against a player who might get creative and pull off a bluff, or maybe bet thinly for value with the flush here. So at the end of the day, I stack up a pile of chips. We ultimately decide to flick in the call, and she says, "You are good," which means that she turns some hand into a bluff, which is incredible on this board. I'm in awe of this play. I could never find bluffs here. Kudos to her. Sorry for the nit roll, but we're going to scoop in an almost $500 pot.
Sick bluff, I almost folded.
Starting the session off the way that we wish all sessions could start. Nice hand to her. Let me know in the comments if I'm too much of a nit, and if you want to see a further hand breakdown. I'm thinking about starting a series where I break down interesting hands like this one. I have a couple others in mind, so let me know if that's the kind of content you'd like to see. I'll go and do some work with solvers in those videos. I know some of you guys have been asking me to show some more solver work. But enough math class, let's get back to the poker as we roll on with all the momentum in this session.
We win almost a $500 pot, which is pretty sweet. But you know what's even sweeter? Is when I get a notification that you guys have liked, commented, and subscribed on this video. Well, actually, I'd probably prefer the $500 pot, but your support is greatly appreciated. So please like, subscribe, and comment down below. Thank you guys again for your support. Let's get back to the video.
I don't know if anyone was paying attention during that time that I was telling you to like and subscribe and all that, but we've picked up aces and raised to $10. Dookie Bets defends the big blind. You guys are definitely good luck because I could feel that we got aces because you hit that like button, so I appreciate it. Flop comes Jack 7-7. Duke is going to check it over to me. While the 7 is definitely more represented in his range, I still think totally fine to go for a bet here. We're going to choose a small size with a lot of our range here, heads up against the big blind. So we try to go for 1/3. We go a little bit smaller, a little bit of a live misclick. Tried to make it 7, made it $6. Dookie 6 in the call. Heads up still to a turn, which is the king of clubs. It presents a backdoor club draw. We do not have the ace of clubs. And the king is just going to be a great card for me. So we get to size up this turn. We go for $20 into 34. So far, pretty much all GTO approved if you run this line. Dookie sticks in the call. And we go to a river, which is the 9 of diamonds. Doesn't change a lot. I guess 10-8 gets there, but he's probably folding that off on the turn. I guess also a hand like Queen 10 might get there, but he doesn't have those hands. I think he has a jack. I'm praying he has king jack. We go for this kind of milky $40 bet. This is where I deviated a bit from theory. In theory, I should probably be going like 125 or 150, kind of blasting this river, but him and I had just had a conversation earlier that day about the fake, milky, small bluff in position on the river. But he's too good for me. He folds Jack 10 of diamonds. You can check that out on his vlog. I'll put a link in the cards. But we get standard value. Probably not the min, probably not the max, but kind of mad at myself that I didn't overbet that river, but we'll take it down. Can't really complain when we've scooped our first 3 pots of the night. This next hand, we have Queen 8 of diamonds in the cutoff. Taliana raises under the gun to $3. I stick in the call, as does the small blind.
Hey, I've seen this one. This is a classic.
So a little bit of deja vu from earlier. Very similar setup. If you remember from the first hand of this vlog, we turned a flush with Queen 8 of diamonds, which is a very good hand. Let's see what this flop brings us. 8, 9, 10, jack, queen. We flop 5 in a row, also known as a straight. That is the second best hand you can have on this board. Even better, Taliana continues for $10. We quickly put in the raise up to 30. This board is going to hit my range pretty hard. Maybe she knows that. She puts in the call, thinking I could maybe just be pushing her around. On the repeat, 9 of spades. It brings in a backdoor flush. She checks on over to me. Our hand is still way too good to start checking. So I decide to continue barreling for a decently large size. I don't think we get overbets on this board pair, but I make it $45. She actually goes in the tank for quite some time. Our line looks pretty strong. And she realizes that. Could I be doing this with a bluff? Like a backdoor spade draw? 8x or queen x of spades on the flop. It's now picked up equity and decided to barrel. For sure, I'll have some bluffs in my range, but she thinks for a pretty decent while before deciding on making a pretty good fold. So she slides her cards in the middle. She shows us that she folded Queen 10 with the Queen of Spades. So pretty decent fold there. We show her that we had the goods. We're going to scoop another pretty decent sized pot. And it just seems like everything's going our way today. We rush back to get our camera set up to see an under the gun open to $3 and a cutoff call. We are in the big blind. We elect to defend, going 3 ways to a flop with 10 in the middle. We are holding Queen of diamonds, 9 of diamonds, slight upgrade from the last hand, and the flop would indicate so, as the flop comes ace of diamonds, 10 of diamonds, deuce of diamonds. We flop a flush. Just running really pure today. We check it to the initial raiser, and it actually checks around here. On the turn, 3 of spades. I think this is a really great card for us. Obviously, still have the second nuts. But now a hand like Ace X will bet, and I also think the King of Diamonds will start to bet now. So when we check, Under the Gun bets half pot for $5. We go for the good old check raise up to 15. He doesn't think about it for too long before calling. I think this probably means he has the King of Diamonds, but we're hoping he has an ace. This player in particular probably will not bluff if we check to him, so we go for the polarizing bet. He snap folds. We'll take this one down. That is our last interesting hand of the night. Let's rack up and debrief with Dookie. Alright, back at Dookie Bet's place. This is where the magic happens. In for way too much, out for significantly more this time. So that's really great. Thanks again to this guy for hosting. Go like, subscribe to his channel, all that good stuff. And good luck at the table, guys.
Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.